grill leaders of Labor's crisis-plagued CFMEU because of ongoing corruption allegations within the union. It was a hot topic during question time in Canberra yesterday.
Why has the Albanese government done nothing to address this crime and corruption? And is it because the Prime Minister's Labor leadership, under the Prime Minister's Labor leadership, those opposite have received almost $7 million in CFMEU donations?
To suggest that our government is not doing anything when it comes to crime and corruption in the building industry, I can reassure this House that we have done more in our term in government than those on the other side.
Well, he had to withdraw the first point, but joining us live now is Shadow Industrial Relations Minister Tim Wilson. Tim, thanks for your time this morning. So what do you want to know from a grilling that an administrator can't get?
Well, what we want to know from the administrator is what he knew, when he knew it, what he's approved and what he's green-lighted, because what we're hearing from whistleblowers, despite the commitments from the minister, is that it seems they've green-lighted meetings between CFMEU officials and John Setka. He's merely issued cautions about the idea of meetings with organised crime figures and people like Mick Gatto. And we know that the whistleblowers are claiming that there's been approvals for certain types of cartel kickbacks and the handing over of Versace gold bracelets to people who have since been sacked because of being put in positions by the administrator himself. Yesterday, the minister boasted in question time that she's been speaking to the administrator. We kind of want to know what they're talking about and whether she's asking questions about WTF, which is a fair question from the minister to the administrator.
Do you reckon they're all in cahoots?
Well, at this point, what we see is the administrator seems to be more concerned about political interference for the government. And this isn't my allegation. This is what whistleblowers are saying, that one of the decisions of the administrator is not to ask questions of the government, lest it ends up in the re-establishment of the ABCC to crack down on union corruption.
As Amanda Rishworth said, though, this takes time to clean up. And in her view, it's an administrator that is the best option to sort things out. I mean, is that not a reasonable approach at this stage?
I don't think it is a reasonable approach at all. The Albanese government abolished the ABCC and removed the cop on the beat and let the CFMEU off the leash. They've appointed an administrator after organised crime and criminal gangs were involved in public projects, which has led to the crisis that led to the appointment of the administrator. The questions from whistleblowers have now raised is that they have become an enabler of putting people in key strategic positions within the union. I agree it's going to take time because the CFMEU is so corrupt. But when you have these allegations from whistleblowers, you have to start to question, is it actually working versus an alternative approach? The minister's in denial. She's supporting the administrator to the hilt, and now her future and fortune is tied to the administrator's success.
A couple of other issues this morning, Tim. Kevin Rudd is in town spruiking superannuation opportunities in the US. This is all part of the deal that was signed with Donald Trump last week. Didn't get a lot of attention last week. Rare Earths did. But have you got any issue without our super giants investing more of Australian investments in the United States?
Well, I think that the key thing super funds need to be doing is helping small businesses grow in Australia, but they're not doing that. Instead, they're pursuing profits overseas. But the real question is it appropriate for our ambassador? Well, it might be good for investors, but I'm also interested in building the strength of Australia and Australian small business. But there's also a big question, which is whose interests is the ambassador serving? Only one section of the Australian financial services market seeking to boost particular super interests rather than Team Australia and the growth of our overall economy and investment market. We know the close relationship between the Labor Party and, of course, the cartel kickbacks that exist between them and the super funds. And mind you, all the way going through the CFMEU, I think this raises serious questions about priorities.
Just a final one on Murray Watson environment laws. The BCA wants to get this done. It believes this is the best opportunity in years to work out something when it comes to environmental reforms. As things stand, where are you at? Is it good for business or not?
We've written to the Prime Minister and simply said split the legislation so the urgent parts of this legislation can get through.
Not going to do that,
while also making sure. Well, he's not going to do that. Well, then he's got to go through a negotiation with the Greens. We hope that business will step up, call for a separation of the legislation and make sure that they advocate for a responsible decision for environmental laws that protect the environment but also advance Australia's national interests. They should be backing us in.
Do you think, speaking of advancing the national interest, the McPhillamys gold mine in Blaney is one of them? It was knocked back by Tanya Plibersek. Is that one opportunity that the government would earn a lot out of, given the price of gold at the moment? Is that something that should be re-looked at and perhaps approved now by the new Environment Minister?
Well, I want to caution, I'm not going to make individual decisions on individual projects, but we ultimately support a mining industry that grows the future economic opportunities of this country. And so if there's a case to look at it again, and there's an economic case for it, of course it should be looked at again.
All right, we'll leave it there. Tim Wilson, thank you so much. We will talk to you again soon. Well, let's bring in the former Labor Senator, Steve.